consulates. Half of that was with U.S. Embassy in New Delhi, and the other half was with the Ghana High Commission here in India. And so brings us a wealth of actual government and the inside picture of what happens in the consulates. Should be very useful. Rajesh, come on up from PwC, and Swati Shanvag, who I've known for many years. She's with the Process and Technology Lead at HCL Technologies. Also has been part of INSZoom team over many years in the Professional Services Department. So welcome, Swati. We're looking forward to hearing from you all. And Rohit, take it away.
Do you want me to stay here, or do you want me to get there?
It's up to you.
I'll just stay.
Stay there?
Yeah.
Get you quick.
Hi, good afternoon all. Thank you for joining us after lunch. It's wonderful. I'm not quite sure what's going to keep you awake, but it's going to be compliance. So hopefully you are awake. If you haven't heard enough about compliance all through the morning, you're going to hear a little more. Different perspective. We're going to switch it up a little bit, I think, to just keep everybody awake. I'm going to just read a couple of slides. I'm not going to go through all the slides, and then we're going to rotate amongst ourselves to do a question and answer. There are different perspectives that all these specialists bring, and we'd like to share that with you, because I think that will be far more useful than hearing us just lecture, because I don't think that's required at all. Okay, so let me go through these. Okay, so we're good. Okay. Just as a little bit of a historical perspective, somewhere in 2004, the Immigration Service set up its FDNS unit, and I'm pretty sure everybody knows what it stands for, but essentially it's dealing with fraud detection and national security. In terms of their stated purpose or their mission statement, it is to basically to detect, deter, and combat immigration benefit fraud, and to strengthen USCIS's efforts ensuring benefits are not granted to persons who threaten national security or public safety. Earlier in the day, you did hear one of the panelists who's obviously got a lot of experience with US consulates and embassies talking about FDNS, talking about the admin processing stamp that some of your employees may end up with, which then takes quite a while to resolve. We're going to follow along that to some extent. We will bring the questions in. We have Satya with us, who's got tremendous experience from the consulate side and the embassies, and he will bring a perspective that I'm pretty sure is useful to every single one of us over here. After the program was created in 2004, FDNS actually implemented the H-1B program, or the assessment program, in 2009. So there is sufficient track record to warn all of us and to keep us warned of the dangers of not complying. We will get into those details again later. You do have to expect annual visits, not necessarily with notice. They may sometimes be unannounced. They may sometimes be just surprise visits. In terms of the programs that it impacts, clearly the H-1, clearly the L-1, the R, which is for religious workers, which most of us are a little less impacted by. And there is the issue of program integrity as well. I'm going to just read off a couple of important points that I did want to mention. Theoretically, each site visit is supposed to focus only on one petition and one beneficiary, not multiple petitions or multiple beneficiaries. Having said that, I think those of us who've been through audits do know that that can trigger an audit for the entire employee force that you may have. It may be limited sometimes by location, and you'd like to try and keep it limited to location for obvious purposes, especially for large IT companies that have many employees placed in many different locations. That's something to watch out for. The derogatory information that they will compile or they will obtain during these site visits can be used to revoke and to deny petitions. Denials, I think we're all aware of. What does revocation mean? Revocation would involve the immigration coming in, gathering derogatory information, and then going back to the Immigration Service, sharing that information, and allowing the Immigration Service to come back and question why they should not revoke a petition, because according to them, they will allege that you have not complied with certain requirements. Typically, it's either going to refer to a location or it's going to refer to a wage situation that is not being complied with. So that's something that's important to remember. Again, like I said, I'm just going through quick points because I want to make this interactive, and there's a lot of information that our panelists have over here. September 2008, the USCIS issued its first assessment report on H-1B benefit fraud and compliance. They did find that 20% of the H-1B petitions that they reviewed contained technical violations or fraud. And flowing from that, they started the site visits fairly aggressively. As many of you may know, they actually did commence the L1 site visits